Hello and welcome to Clearview Television News. We're reaching you live from Nigeria's capital city, Abuja. In the news, reactions trail defection of Ebonyi State Governor Dave Umahi from the People's Democratic Party (PDP) to the ruling All Progressives Congress (APC). Civil society organization and the family of a rape victim, Ochanya Obanje, give Inspector General of Police a 14-day ultimatum to declare one of the suspects on the run wanted. South African President Cyril Ramaphosa calls for cooperation and caution to curb a resurgence of the coronavirus and rebuild the world economy. I'm Prudence Okon now with the details of these and more stories. And Governor Dave Umahi of Ebonyi State is moving from the People's Democratic Party (PDP) to the All Progressives Congress (APC). And in this authoritative, after several weeks of speculations, Governor Umahi has finally confirmed that he is moving and there is no stopping. The governor told journalists in Abakaliki, the Ebonyi State capital, that this is his way of protesting against the injustice being done to the southeast zone by the PDP and that the move has nothing to do with the 2023 presidential election.
And so it is absurd that since 1998, going to 2023, that Southeast will never be considered to run for presidency under the ticket of PDP. It's very absurd. And this is my position, and will continue to be my position. It has nothing to do with me. In 2023, if God permits, I'll be quitting politics. And I'll be very satisfied because the miracles in Ebonyi State may just be the reason I was born in the first place. And I will be very bold, like Apostle Paul that says, I have fought a good fight. I have finished the race. It's wait unto our children and their generation a crown of success. Because I believe that a foundation would have been laid for the greatness of this state, Ebonyi.
It is long awaited. We have been expecting defection for some time now. These were the feelings of Rivers State Governor Nyesom Wike to the defection of Governor Dave Umahi of Ebonyi State from PDP to APC. Wike says it is all in pursuit of his presidential ambition. While chatting with journalists, Governor Wike, however, expressed reservation with the claims by Governor Umahi that he decided to leave the PDP because of the injustice suffered by the people of the Southeast under the party. Talking like a prophet, Wike says Governor Umahi has by his action nailed his career in politics.
6 years ago, PDP was in power. They committed injustice against their people. And you know where they camped? It is the same party that you say that committed injustice against you that gave you the ticket that you won election. If I were him, what I would have done was to say, look, PDP, I can't be here again. For my second tenure, I will not run under the party. I want to tell you how unhappy my people were. Yeah, second tenure I live in, because of presidency, you want to come. But I don't believe he even want to run for president. I don't believe so. I believe that he wants to be vice president. I believe so. I'm so absolutely disappointed. Not that I don't know that he had left the party for years. I do know. I do know, and I can tell you to go to the bank with it. What David Umahi has done today has nailed him. Politically, David Umahi will know that the politics of Nigeria is not the politics of Ebonyi State. This presidency thing, he will know that the more you look, the less you see. PDP again as a party, she used this as a lesson to themselves, particularly the National Working Committee. Another governor will leave. And if they pretend that they don't know, then it will be unfair to the party. Well, we know it's not today.
The People's Democratic Party (PDP) has announced the dissolution of its Ebonyi State Executive Committee. PDP's National Publicity Secretary, Kola Olugbodinyo, announced this in a statement on Tuesday in Abuja, Nigeria capital city. He noted that the party's leadership has also dissolved its executive committee at the local government and ward levels in the state. Olugbodinyo explained that the decision was taken by the PDP's National Working Committee following a crucial meeting held on Tuesday. According to him, the NWC has also dissolved the Zonal Caretaker Committee of the party in the southeast region of the country. Although the PDP did not state why it took the decision, the dissolution of the committees may be connected with the exit of Ebonyi State Governor David Umahi from the opposition party. And human rights activist Dave Deji Adeyanju on Tuesday reacted to the defection of Governor Dave Umahi of Ebonyi State from the People's Democratic Party to the All Progressives Congress. According to him, the Ebonyi State governor joined the opposition party because of his presidential ambition. He, however, claimed that President Muhammadu Buhari will hand over in 2023 to another. The convener of Concerned Nigerians also described the defection of Umahi as a joke and madness taken too far. He added that the ruling party would only present him with a senatorial ticket and hide his corruption file. And the relationship between the leaders of South region and the Nigerian government is becoming strained. Our reporter gathered that the governors and other leaders of the South region, including traditional rulers, have accused the government at the center of utter disrespect for the region despite its importance to the nation. Speaking after the Professor Ibrahim Gambari-led federal government delegation failed to honor a meeting that had been convened at the instance of the federal government. The South leaders say the action goes to show a disregard the Nigerian government has for the region. The report.
Why should the federal government be treating us this way? South leaders kept asking. They were angry when the Professor Ibrahim Gambari-led federal government delegation failed to show up for a scheduled meeting in the Rivers State capital, Port Harcourt. The meeting, which had been put together by the Nigerian government, was to discuss security and other issues neglect suffered by the region. The meeting, which was scheduled for 11 a.m., however, got delayed due to the quarterly National Security Council meeting at the Presidential Villa. The program was then rescheduled to 1 p.m. by the Professor Ibrahim Gambari-led federal government delegation, but still failed to show up.
I got a call from the villa. Very unfortunately, and spoke with the Chief of Staff to Mr. President, and he did ask that I should please apologize to the South, that they are already there at the airport. He's there at the airport with the ministers, but because of the emergency meeting and the further meeting of Mr. President with the Inspector General of Police and the DG SSS, that it will be difficult for them to come for this meeting without these two persons in their midst.
The Delta State Governor and the chairman of the South Governors Forum, Dr. Ifeanyi Okowa, got the atmosphere really charged with his address.
At least to show, say, when I respect South, we cannot not pick any call from presidency, at least within the next 24 hours. If they take their phone call, if I say, when I not sell us out to. This meeting is as important as any other meeting in this Nigeria.
If the federal government thinks that they can treat us with this type of disdain, then we also must be able to know that the time has come for us to say enough, really, truly, absolutely, that totally enough is enough.
They said the federal government has, by its action, has no regard for the South-South region, despite its enormous contribution to the nation's wealth.
So if you held meetings with other people, you had it so well, you did all those sort of things. When it comes to us, you say, they are the middle. Who cancels a meeting when his meeting is supposed to end? I do not think this is good, and I will suggest that we should just pause the whole idea of any meeting or any dialogue.
We are going to take a decisive decision to make them believe that we have teeth, a little teeth, and we can bite.
When it was time to go, the South-South leaders sent a message to the Nigerian government to tender an unreserved apology. How soon the apology will come, that we cannot guess.
We desire, as a region, an unreserved public apology to the region, particularly to our traditional rulers and the leaders in this zone.
And coming on the heels of serious economic hardship being experienced by Nigerians, the prominent civil rights advocacy group Human Rights Writers Association of Nigeria, Huriwa, has expressed disappointment that the Nigerian government is systematically driving Nigeria to unmitigated disaster, doom, instability, and insecurity. The body says, riding on the crest of change and next-level mantras into his first and second tenures of his administration, President Muhammadu Buhari made significantly huge body of promises to the Nigerian populace, presenting the dividends the country stands to gain through his leadership. However, the association writes that with an unenviable reputation as the world's new poverty capital, about 40%, that is 82 million people of Nigeria's population, are living on less than $1 per day, according to figures from National Bureau of Statistics. It is therefore evidently clear that the economic policies of this administration are anything but articulate and are not well thought out, just as the cabinet ministers and directors general of ministries, departments and agencies of government are so dissonant and distant from the core economic policies of the central government that are currently engaged in a free-for-all bonanza of corruption, ineptitude and crass opportunism, thereby driving millions of citizens into intolerable cruelty and mass hunger. Huriwa gave knocks to the failure of the Nigerian government to negotiate effectively with the striking university teachers who have been on strike for many months. It says this shows how far removed from realities the ministers serving the current administrations are and their high levels of incompetence. Amidst the abysmal increases in the price of refined petroleum products and other essential goods and services, a prominent civil rights advocacy group, Human Rights Writers Association of Nigeria, Huriwa, has therefore berated the Muhammadu Buhari-led administration for taking actions that have left the Nigerian economy prostrate for the last 5 years, with rising inflation, contrasting GDP, unsustainable borrowing, and a dwindling value of the naira, falling industrial capacity utilization, and frightening unemployment figures. In a statement jointly signed by the National Coordinator, Comrade Emmanuel Onwubiko, and the National Media Affairs, Zainab Yusuf, the rights group raised concerns over a barrage of issues ranging from the fuel and electricity price hike, shutdown of borders and opening only for 2 northern businesses, poor economic planning and heavy borrowings, which have combined to inflict poverty, high crimes, kidnappings, pains and pangs of hardship on millions of citizens. And Nigerians have been advised to mobilize and vote out elected officials who are not representing them optimally. A coalition of civil society groups gave the advice at an outreach on youth reorientation in Abuja, the Nigerian capital. Clearview TV's Edward Aidoyin has the report.
The outreach at the Jabi Motor Park, Abuja, convener of the program, Emmanuel Wosun, said recent events in the country called for reorientation of Nigerian youths, especially as they concern elected officials, evident in the recent protests by disenchanted electorates. Nwosu said Nigerian youths should always use their electoral powers to vote out unperforming electoral officials.
If we decide that this person has not represented us well as a councillor, we organize in our little environment and say, my friend, you were a councillor for 3 years. We didn't get to know what you did. We want another person there. Make sure you use your vote. Stand on the day of election. You see some of us under the sun. The civil society is used to going under the sun. You must use your vote. Make sure that you vote out those people who have not done well. 2023 is coming again.
He also dwelled extensively on how Nigerians could use protests to achieve their demands for good governance. He also made reference to the recent happenings in the country where the NSAS protest was hijacked.
You destroy Nigeria, you destroy your future. Peaceful protest is legitimate. When it turns violent, it becomes illegitimate. Destruction of property, burning of police stations, these are terrible acts. And we cannot, as a people, prosper by this way. We understand that people are frustrated. The ordinary man in the street is not feeling the government. It is because we don't understand our place in government.
We are bringing back the face of both the government and the young ones. We are proud of them because what some of us could not do 30, 20 years ago, they have shown us that they can do it. A peaceful protest for 16 days, from 4th October to 20th October, before it was hijacked.
He called on the youth to always hold their elected officials accountable by tracking budget allocations for projects in their domain.
The Progressive Governors Forum, led by its chairman and Kebbi State Governor Atiku Abubakar Bagudu, has paid solidarity and condolence visits to their Lagos State counterpart Babajide Sanwo-Olu over the destructions visited on infrastructure and businesses during the NSAS protests. Speaking with reporters, Bagudu commended Sanwo-Olu for the leadership he demonstrated during the crisis by ensuring that things did not get out of hand. He said though they had earlier sent a condolence message, they were in Lagos to encourage Sanwo-Olu and his team and show solidarity with the people of Lagos.
It's very clear that violence does not solve any problem, it compounds it. Today, Lagos has further taken a loss because of that violence that has attacked everything, police stations, the cultural institutions. Yes, our young persons have the right to express opinions. We have to dialogue with them, we have to listen to them. They are our beacons to the world. But they have seen how the mobility of any cause can be taken over by those who otherwise have agendas that are contrary to what they thought they are out to achieve.
And those in the entourage included Governors Mai Mala Buni of Yobe, Simon Lalong of Plateau, and Mohammed Badaru Abubakar of Jigawa State. It is important for Nigeria's leaders to see young people as assets, or else they will not eventually have a peaceful retirement. Deputy Secretary General of the United Nations Amina Mohammed gave the advice on Tuesday when she visited the Secretariat of the Nigeria Governors Forum (NGF) as part of her tour of some West African states including Ghana, Sierra Leone, Chad and the Niger Republic. A statement from the NGF Secretariat spokesperson Abdulrazak Bello Barkindo noted that the advice was in reaction to the NSAS protest in some parts of the country. In her response to pleas by the governors for assistance from the UN, Mohammed said the organization does not write checks but creates an environment for those who have the checks to do so. You're watching Clearview Television News. More stories still follow after this timeout.
Here is the news of cooperation and collaboration on DSTV channel 255 between MITV and Clearview TV. Every day at 7 p.m., we bring you a half-hour comprehensive news on DSTV channel 255, On Tuesdays, however, we read the news at 8:30 p.m. Come join us, 7 p.m. on DSTV 255. It's a deal.
You're welcome back. And a 14-day ultimatum has been given to the Inspector General of Police, Mohammed Hadamo, to declare one Victor Ogbuja wanted. Civil society organizations and the family of one Ochanya Ogbanje, who was raped to death by a father and his son, issued the ultimatum. Later, Ochanya Ogbanje was raped by her foster father, Andrew Ogbuja, and his son, Victor Ogbuja. This reportedly led to her death.
It's been 2 years now that Ochanya Ogbanje died of health complication arising from alleged serial rape by a father and his son. One of the suspects is yet to be arrested, and the family of Ochanya and the civil society organizations have given the Inspector General of Police, Mohammed Adamu, 14 days to apprehend the culprit.
It is in the light of the foregoing that we hereby put the IGP on notice that in the event that he fails to declare Victor Ogbuja wanted for the egregious crimes that have been linked to him in the aforementioned legal advice, we as a family, the FGGC Boko Old Girls Association, and other civil society groups with our partners, we will have no other choice but to storm the police force headquarters at Louis Edet House in Abuja to register our displeasure.
Not only that we do not yet have that justice, similar cases have continued to occur even after that, after Ochanya's incidents. And we begin to wonder, for how long is this going to continue?
And the kind of attitude towards justice in the country is very, very discouraging. So it's been quite challenging, and the attitude and spirit we have to all put on is not giving up when there are cases of child sexual abuse.
By the inaction of the police, we can rightly say, after 2 years, that the police and the Inspector General of Police are aiding and abetting the continued escape from justice of Victor Ogbuja.
Victor Ogbuja has been on the run since the death of Ochanya.
The Nigerian embassy in Germany has suspended a senior security staff who allegedly solicited sex from a woman before renewing her passport in a viral video. In the video, the official, identified as Mr. Martin, was caught with his pants off in a hotel room after he had allegedly asked the unnamed lady to have sex with him before he could release the passport. A voice behind the camera accused Mr. Martin of several unwanted sexual encounters he had in the past in exchange for delivering his official duty. A few hours after the video surfaced online, the embassy announced the suspension of the official who works as a local staff in the security unit with immediate effect. While he did not give his name for legal reasons, the embassy noted how the official had been in connection with allegations of sexual abuse and other serious criminal activity in return for official services. And on the foreign scene, with the COVID-19 pandemic ravaging the world and damaging economy, South African President Cyril Ramaphosa has called for cooperation and caution to curb a resurgence of the virus and rebuild the economy. Addressing the 12th BRICS summit, Ramaphosa called on BRICS members, namely Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa, and the international community to support a stimulus package for African countries to deal with the impact of the pandemic. He stated the summit comes at a time that calls for cooperation and dialogue between the nations of the world, and expressed the hope that this will enable African countries to contain the disease and rebuild their damaged economies, while noting that trade and investment ties between BRICS countries must be strengthened to improve economic recoveries. President Ramaphosa also called for a review of the BRICS strategy for Economic Partnership 2025 to restore African economies to good health. On November 11, Ramaphosa had warned against complacency about the virus in a television address amid rising infections in some parts of South Africa. In response to the rising COVID-19 infections in South Africa, he said his government was implementing the resurgence plan that has been developed together with the search team deployed to the country by the World Health Organization. Ramaphosa explained that the interventions include primary healthcare outreach teams to intensify contact tracing, daily community mobilization, ensuring the readiness of health facilities, and being ready to respond to possible clusters outbreak. According to Africa Center for Disease Control and Prevention, as of Tuesday this week, the African continent has recorded 1,986,864 coronavirus cases with 47,647 deaths. And that'll be all, but before we go, a look at our top stories. The National Working Committee of the main opposition People's Democratic Party (PDP) has dissolved the ward local government and state executive committees of the party in Ebonyi State following the defection of Governor Dave Umahi to the ruling All Progressives Congress (APC). While Governor Umahi blamed his defection on alleged frustration of the Southeast by the PDP, his Rivers State counterpart Nyesom Wike says it's all a lie, but an orchestration by Umahi to pursue his ambition for the 2023 presidency. A civil society organization and the family of a rape victim, Ochanya Ogbanje, from Benue State have given the Inspector General of the Police, Mohammed Adamu, a 14-day ultimatum to declare one of the suspects, Victor Ogbuja, who has been on the run, wanted. Ochanya Ogbanje was raped by her foster father, Andrew Ogbuja, and his son, Victor Ogbuja, leading to her death as a result of complications after she became pregnant. And the South African President Cyril Ramaphosa has called for cooperation and caution to curb a resurgence of the coronavirus and rebuild the world economy. Addressing the 12th BRICS summit, Ramaphosa called on BRICS members, namely Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa, and the international community to support a stimulus package for African countries to deal with the impact of the pandemic. Remember, you can subscribe to our YouTube channel at Clearview TV, like us on Facebook at Clearview Television, follow us on Instagram at Clearview TV_NG. You can follow us on Twitter at Clearview Online. I am Prudence Okonna. Many thanks for watching.